On a crisp autumn afternoon, Jerome Smitty made his way down the quiet, tree-lined street, leaves crunching underfoot as he approached the modest home of his elderly neighbor, Mr. Robert. The air was tinged with the scent of wood smoke and the distant laughter of children playing, but Jerome's mind was focused on the visit ahead. He had noticed Mr. Robert's absence from his usual spot on the porch over the past week and had grown concerned. The old man was something of a fixture in the neighborhood, a gentle presence, always ready with a wave or a wry remark. Jerome paused at the front gate, taking in the faded paint and the carefully tended garden beyond. Despite his age, Mr. Robert still took pride in his roses, coaxing them into bloom long after most gardeners would have surrendered to the chill. Lifting the latch, Jerome stepped through, his footsteps muffled by the thick carpet of leaves. He reached the door and knocked softly, the sound echoing in the stillness. A moment passed before the door opened a crack. Mr. Robert peered out, his blue eyes bright and curious. A smile creased his weathered face as he recognized Jerome. "Well now, if it isn't young Smitty," he said, his voice gravelly but warm. "Come to keep an old man company, have you?" Quote. Jerome grinned. "Afternoon, Mr. Robert. Thought I'd check in, see how you're holding up." The old man opened the door wider, ushering Jerome inside. The warmth of the house enveloped him, carrying with it the comforting smells of tea and old books. Sunlight streamed through the lace curtains, casting patterns on the worn wooden floor. "Can I get you something?" Mr. Robert asked, shuffling toward the kitchen. His movements were slow, but there was a stubborn dignity in the way he carried himself. "A cup of tea would be great," Jerome replied, settling into an armchair that had clearly seen years of use. He glanced around, taking in the framed photographs that lined the mantelpiece, snapshots of a younger Mr. Robert, surrounded by family and friends, all frozen moments from a life well lived. Mr. Robert returned with 2 steaming mugs, handing one to Jerome before easing himself into the opposite chair. For a moment, they sat in companionable silence, the ticking of a clock the only sound. "Been a bit under the weather, have you?" Jerome ventured gently. Mr. Robert nodded, a rueful smile tugging at his lips. "Just a touch of the flu, nothing to fuss over. But I appreciate the concern, son. Not many folks think to check in these days." Jerome looked down at his tea, feeling a pang of guilt. It was true, life had a way of pulling people in different directions, and it was all too easy to lose touch with those who mattered. He resolved then and there to make these visits a regular thing. "How the roses holding up?" he asked, eager to shift the conversation to lighter ground. Mr. Robert's face lit up. "Oh, stubborn as ever, those roses. Takes a bit more effort each year, but I suppose we're alike in that regard." He chuckled, the sound low and warm. "Did I ever tell you about the time I tried to grow a blue rose? Spent a whole summer at it, crossbreeding and tending, but all I got was a muddy purple for my trouble." Jerome laughed, picturing the scene. "Sounds like you and those roses have been through a lot together." The old man nodded. "They remind me that even when things get tough, there's still beauty to be found. Kindness in small, unexpected places. Like a neighbor dropping by with a smile." As they sipped their tea, the conversation drifted from gardening to memories of the neighborhood, how it had changed over the years, the families that had come and gone. Mr. Robert spoke of his late wife, his voice soft but steady, and Jerome listened, grateful for the trust the old man placed in him. "You know," Mr. Robert said after a while, "it's funny how the years sneak up on you. One day you are chasing after your kids, the next you're watching the world go by from your window. But there's a certain peace in it, too. A chance to really see things, to appreciate the quiet moments." Jerome nodded, realizing how much he'd missed in his own rush through life. He made a silent promise to slow down, to pay more attention, not just to Mr. Robert, but to all the small joys that so often went unnoticed. As the afternoon slipped towards evening, Jerome stood to leave. He placed his empty mug in the sink, thanked Mr. Robert for the tea, and promised to return soon. The old man walked him to the door, leaning on his cane but standing tall. "Take care of yourself, Smitty," he said, his eyes twinkling. "And don't wait so long to visit next time." Stepping back out into the fading light, Jerome felt a quiet sense of contentment. The world outside seemed a little brighter, the air a little sweeter. He glanced back at Mr. Robert's house, its windows glowing warmly against the twilight, and realized that sometimes, the simplest acts, a visit, a shared cup of tea, a listening ear, could mean the world. As he walked home, Jerome thought about the stories Mr. Robert had shared, the lessons hidden in those quiet words. He understood now that community wasn't just a matter of geography, but of connection, of reaching out, showing up, and caring, even when life was busy or uncertain. That evening, Jerome found himself tending his own small garden, pulling weeds and trimming branches as the stars emerged overhead. He thought of Mr. Robert and his stubborn roses, of resilience and hope and the ties that bound them all together. In the days and weeks that followed, Jerome kept his promise. He visited Mr. Robert often, sometimes bringing groceries, sometimes just stories from his day. Neighbors began to notice, and soon others joined in, dropping by with casseroles, offering to help with yard work, or simply sitting for a while to share the quiet. Mr. Robert, for his part, seemed to grow stronger with each visit. His laughter rang out more often, his stories grew more animated, and the sparkle in his eyes returned. And in those small, shared moments, the neighborhood itself seemed to come alive, a tapestry of kindness and connection, each thread stronger for the care and attention given to it. Through his visits to Mr. Robert, Jerome learned that the greatest gifts are often the simplest: time, compassion, and the willingness to listen. And as the seasons turned and the roses bloomed once more, he knew that these moments, these quiet acts of friendship, were the true heart of community.